Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate at the last election, explained today why he was her running mate, and in doing so, inadvertently explained why the Democrats not only lost the last election, but will continue losing elections.
I knew I was on the ticket, I would argue, because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota that improved people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this.
Code talk and permission. There's a man who knows absolutely nothing about men. But I suppose when your signature move is jazz hands, and you remember he tried to load a shotgun with his groin? And then, of course, he's been nicknamed Tampon Tim because of his penchant for putting tampon bins in boys' toilets in his home state of Minnesota. It was probably a weird choice to try and appeal to white guys who like sport and trucking. But weirdest of all was imagining that his primary value was that he was white and a male, rather than, say, his experience or his ideas or his...
Now, that's the kind of identity politics I can get behind, James.
And that is why the Democrats will be out of office for a long time if they're still thinking that's the difference. Imagine thinking that men need you to code for them or give them permission to vote for a black woman. White blokes who love sports and trucks don't need code, they just need plain truth. And the truth is that Tim Walz was never the guy to appeal to the average American bloke.
Indeed. And the fact that an average white guy living in America who does love trucks, who does love sport, would find an affinity with a guy like Tim Walz. Like, they literally were like, OK, well, we've got a black woman running for president, so we're going to get a middle-aged white guy as her VP running mate. Tick that box. Identity politics for the win. I'm sure people will find him really relatable. He's the white guy to find relatable and be like, yeah, I'm going to vote for them because I see myself reflected in this absolute bumbling fool. Remember, Tim Walz is the guy who called himself a knucklehead.
I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times.
Tell us something we don't know, mate. I mean, my goodness, Joe.
It's a very sort of typical. I despise it, but it's a very sort of typical new progressive left, as opposed to just good old fashioned, of the people, by the people, for the people. But where there's this idea that elections are kind of a game. They're kind of like an algorithm, and that you can listen to the way they speak. Listen to the way Get Up speaks, for example, in its campaign strategy when it bombards you with emails and tells you how we're going to donate, and if we just get $6 here and $6 there, and listen to the way the Obama team, and they did it very effectively, but talked about the ground game. I mean, they did that effectively because they had a candidate who could actually connect with normal people. But this idea that I'm the sort of Rosetta Stone for straight, white, middle-aged, masculine men who make up, the vast majority of the sort of middle American Rust Belt states that we need to win. I know how to communicate with them. It's like, how about just being one of them? Like, how about just being normal? And there's just after the election, there was a big push on by some in the Democrats, sadly not the side of the party that I think Tim Walz and Kamala are on, but where they said, what the hell are we doing? We have screwed up everything. We need to get out. We need to go to the gun shows. We need to get out there in the four-wheel drives. We need to actually get into the community that we are. We've got to stop, hanging around in all our cool sort of East Coast, salons and brunch spots, talking about how we can, secretly communicate and use people as vessels to harness these people. And we've got to get out there and live among them. How's that for a good idea?
It's an amazing idea. I mean, regardless of policies, Liz, who is the average bloke in the US going to identify with, Tim Walz or JD Vance?
Well, I think we have our answer in the election result.
I think we got it loud and clear.